That first year, yes, it was hard, of course, and there was a lot of long hours, and of course balancing being a mom and well, even just trying to keep fit and healthy and then start a business. But um but it it, it survived, obviously. So, and here I am. So yes, it was all good.
And let me ask you, where did that mindset come from? Because, a lot of people don't have that mindset out the gate. I'll just give it a year and whatever happens, at least I tried.
Exactly. Well, I don't. Where did that mindset? Do I think maybe sometimes it can be just in your DNA, like maybe you're born with it? Because it's true. I think a lot of times people you meet, some can be very positive, some can be a little bit more draining. So it could be that, and maybe it's my particular personality. But I know in life, a lot of times things can bring you down. And so, as I was telling you, life happened and a lot of things did bring me down eventually. And then I started to have negative self-talk. And I think what happens is you start to become a victim. And I remember I did that for a while. And it really is a downward spiral when you start to talk. It's negative self-talk, or um, and you blame anyone else but yourself. You don't look into yourself as to, what can I do? And bring yourself out of it. And as
Mhm.
soon as I changed that, I saw my life change.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Entrepreneurial Truth. Today, we have Tina Burke from Burke Recruiting, and she's here to share her journey, where she is, and give an insight into what her journey looked like as an entrepreneur. Tina, happy to have you on today.
Thank you. So nice to be here.
Awesome. Can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and where you started?
Oh, sure. So, my my career that I started with was in accounting. So I am an accountant by trade. So that's what I did for quite a few years. And then one day I was recruited and asked if I would like to try recruiting. So recruiting is, and it was more in a sense of what traditional people think of, like a headhunter. And so I thought, okay, well, and it would specialize in accounting. So I thought, you know what, I'll give it a try, like even just 1 year, and I can always go back to being an accountant. And so I gave it a try, and I never looked back. So from that point, I mean, I loved it. It was more like I could tell this was what I was meant to be. But I could still use that accounting and all the education and training and everything else that I had gained. So I didn't feel like it was a waste of all the many years of school. so so then I did that for 5 years, and I grew, and I was very successful at it. And what happened after that is I had a child. So that was the pivotal moment in my career where I was like, oh, I don't want to leave my baby at home, because I had to do. There was one trip in particular where I had to leave her, and I'm like, I'm never doing that again. So I decided to start up my own recruiting firm. And gosh, that's almost 24 years ago now. And so it's a boutique recruiting firm, again specializing in accounting, and we're here in Vancouver, BC. And so did that for many years. And then life happened. My goodness, so many things happened. And what brought me down the journey of where I'm now, combining some more like spiritual. So I got into some Feng Shui and everything else. So now where I'm at is, I did a lot of training and soul searching. And in particular, I learned how to become a Feng Shui master. I learned a couple other things like dowsing and some cool things. But the bottom line is what I'm doing now and what I'm trying to incorporate is trying to show people how to use Feng Shui in your office, or it could be, so it could be for clients or business owners. And it could also be on the other side where I'm helping candidates use Feng Shui or words of affirmations before they go into maybe a job interview, or to sort of manifest that dream job, whatever it might be, or boost your career where you are presently. And so that's where I am today.
And I'm happy that you've shared like all the bits and pieces of your journey. But I want to dive a little bit deeper and kind of what did that look like for you transitioning from the work world into your own consulting firm?
Sure. So at the time, gosh, it was when I decided to go out on my own, I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to do it. And I'll tell you, at the time, people thought I was crazy because I was very successful. I was doing well. I just had a new baby and just bought a home. Like, just, it was like everything was happening. But I would just felt such confidence that, I've got to do this, and I'm going to do it. And I just didn't have any doubt in my mind. So it was such a positive mindset at the time. And then what happened is so there was, you had to get office space. You would have to like guarantee your home, or, you couldn't just sign a lease and they would give it to like somebody brand new starting out, or you had to pay cash up front for a year. So I remember having to do that and going, oh my gosh, I'm using up all my cash. But then what happened was 9/11 hit. This was the year we started our business. And I was kind of like, then the doubt starts to come in. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm starting in the worst of times. Like, and I was like, oh, well, you know what? I got to try. Just like I did when I started my first year of recruiting. I was like, I'll give it a try. What the heck? I can work as a barista somewhere if I have to. Like, I can do whatever I have to do, but I have to try this. I've committed. And that first year, yes, it was hard, of course. And there was a lot of long hours, and of course balancing being a mom and well, even just trying to keep fit and healthy and then start a business. But it survived, obviously. So, and here I am. So yes, it was all good.
And let me ask you, where did that mindset come from? Because, a lot of people don't have that mindset out the gate. I'll just give it a year and whatever happens, at least I tried.
Exactly. Well, I don't, where did that mindset do I think maybe sometimes it can be just in your DNA, like maybe you're born with it, because it's true. I think a lot of times people you meet, some can be very positive, some can be a little bit more draining. So it could be that, and maybe it's my particular personality. But I know in life, a lot of times things can bring you down. And so, as I was telling you, life happened and a lot of things did bring me down eventually. And then I started to have negative self-talk. And I think what happens is you start to become a victim. And I remember I did that for a while. And it really is a downward spiral when you start to talk. It's negative self-talk, or and you blame anyone else but yourself. You don't look into yourself as to, what can I do? And bring yourself out of it. And as
Mhm.
soon as I changed that, I saw my life change.
Wow. And was it someone that said to you, hey, listen, I noticed that you're not the same person you used to be? Or was it a change that you noticed in yourself and said, you know what, I need to find someone to pull me out of this space?
Well, I think well, there was a couple things that happened. One is, and I believe in life, that sometimes we get so many doors that close on us, or things that happen to us that don't seem, they seem hard. You feel like you're climbing up a hill, you're climbing up a hill. But I feel like that happens for a reason, and it's to awaken you, and it's to make you, I always say, like, you get into darkness before you can see the light.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened to me was, there was a couple comments. I remember I was, so at the time, my husband had left me, and I was, playing the woe is me, and he left me for another woman, the whole thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember someone saying something to me to the effect of, like, well, you have to look at the two sides to it. And I was like, oh wow, like, it was like a slap in the face. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's true. Like, just because somebody left a relationship, or looked at somebody else, perhaps what part did I have in that? So I remember thinking that. And then there was some other uh, really hard things that happened, where I was just like, oh my God, I need to really bring myself out of this. So I looked to, at the time, it was Michael Beck. And I trained under him for quite some time, and it was wonderful because he taught me about this victimhood, and it was about not saying this person did it to me. It was like turning the mindset around as to, okay, this happened, so what are the positives in this? And I learned so much from him. And then from there, I went into some more training, especially in Marie Diamond. I think we spoke about
Mm-hmm.
earlier, but because Marie Diamond is who I've trained under for many, many, many years. And she also is the person that I co-authored my book with, my last book with. So and so, yeah, from there it just has been taken off, and it feels so good.
And do you think that if the situation hadn't happened, that you would have still been able to write that book with Marie Diamond, or do you think the circumstances put you in that space with her?
So I think that with respect to what happened to me, the darkness, I think that was so like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I really believe that helped change who I am as a person. And so that's what I tell people. I try to think about these things as blessings. And I really feel that was a blessing that happened. So, and I turn, even now when I help people, uh, help them find jobs, if they get, say, fired, or restructured, I'm like, this is a blessing. In the law, you won't see it now, but you're going to get something even better.
Mhm.
You're going to see, we'll talk about this down the road, and you are going to be so happy that this happened, because you probably weren't happy in that situation anyways, or whatever,
Mhm.
but I
Mhm.
try and look at it like that. Turn lemon into lemonade.
Mhm. Mhm. No, I definitely get it. I definitely get it. Let me ask you. So, with co-authoring the book, what was that process like? Was she already, you know,
Oh.
the well known or?
Oh yeah. So Marie Diamond. So for anyone that doesn't know Marie, she is one of the she's famous from The Secret, and it's a movie called The Secret. And it's so funny because I remember years ago when The Secret first came out, that was also something that I was just like, I watched it over and over again. I remember buying the books and the journals before I'd ever met Marie. And then for some reason, I don't know how it happened, but I stumbled upon her, and then I started um, I think I learned one of her meditations or something, but then eventually I just kept training for years and years with her and under her, because it just spoke to me, and it really resonated to me that this really worked for me. And I did. I started to see all kinds of beautiful, positive things happening in my life. And I would tell people, and people would see the change in me as well. And it just seemed to really work. So that was how I started with her. And then when gosh, I guess it was a couple of years ago, she had invited me to be a co-author on this book, and that journey was incredible, and it's opened up so many more doors, and I've met so many more people, and it's just, yeah, it's been beautiful and positive.
And that's amazing. That's amazing. And if you were to give yourself 2 or 3 years ago advice, or even yourself starting out, what kind of advice would you give yourself looking back now?
Oh gosh, I would say, so 2 or 3 years ago, well, 2 or 3 years ago, I was feeling pretty good still. So, like, that was on my way, my journey. And I would say, Tina, what you're doing is the right thing. You're on the right track. So keep going, do what you're doing and believe in yourself. Like, okay. So, and I'm just, when you asked me that question, I was thinking too, uh, spirituality or Feng Shui, I think, was considered a little bit woo woo, and
Hmm.
people weren't really ready to accept it yet.
Hmm.
So even if I take myself back uh, 8, 9, 10 years ago, this is when I started this journey. And I remember I started with meditation. And even then, meditation was even considered like, people were like, what are you doing? And it was almost like you had to hide it.
Hmm.
So I would like hide in my car and meditate there, or go in a back office, because I just didn't want to tell people about it, because I didn't want to be judged.
Right. Right.
But so I think, if I was to say anything to myself, it's like, don't be embarrassed. And what I want to do now is to tell people, like, this is so positive for you, and it's only going to help you, and it makes you feel so good, and just give it a try. It won't hurt anybody. It's only going to help.
Awesome. And how did you think about incorporating the feng shui and what you're doing now in your
Oh,
recruiting?
yeah. I know. Like, it just, okay. So years ago, when I started this, I was always like, what is my purpose here on earth? I think that sort of started to come into play as my kids got older and they went off to university. And I was feeling like I needed to really help in some way, help give back. And I was trying to think about what I would do. And, I would do things like, of course, and I still do, volunteering and helping that way. But I felt like I needed to do something more. And so I started to give little tips, friends, family, my kids' friends, some people just needed help, and I would do some healing work as well. And so I thought, I just wish that I could combine my knowledge, but bring it into the office or the business world without being embarrassed about it. So tiny little steps. So I will just offer tiny things like words of affirmation, or holding a particular crystal in your hand before you go into a tough interview or a tough meeting, or if you're nervous about something, or
Mhm.
putting a crystal in a certain position on your desk. So just tiny little things that, and again, if for somebody that's new to this, they maybe don't want to expose it to the world that they're doing this.
Mhm.
So I say, nobody even has to know. I mean, really, you can just put a beautiful crystal on your desk.
Mhm.
Oftentimes, that's just gorgeous there. And nobody has to understand that you're bringing in some great energy.
Mhm.
Or the words that you're saying, for example, like whenever I go you spend money, like say buy a cup of coffee, I always say thank you to that money, but I don't say it out loud. People think I'm crazy. I say thank you to the money in my head, stuff like that. So yeah, just little tips like that.
Oh, and what other tips could you give our listeners that they could implement right now to kind of lift their vibration and, put them in a more positive space?
Okay, so one thing I often tell, I mean, even my kids, but anybody, if I ever hear them say, I have to go to work, or
Mhm.
I have to go pick up my kids, say instead, I get to go to work,
Ooh.
or I get to go pick up my kids. I mean, and think the gratitude every morning, express words of gratitude. I'm so grateful that I get to live in this home with the roof over my head, or I'm so grateful I get to eat this food. I'm so grateful I get to breathe in this beautiful fresh air and drink this clean water. Simple things like that. But and then if there's something that you're really striving for, I often will recommend, like at nighttime before you go to sleep,
Mhm.
say I am, and put whatever after. I am getting my dream job, or I am finding my dream partner, whatever it might be. Say it 9 times, and then go to sleep, and just consider it being done.
Oh, and is there anything with that number 9? Why did you
Yes.
put it 9 times?
Yeah, so 9 is in Feng Shui, or even in if you go back to the ancient sort of Chinese um, philosophy, it's 9 is sort of unlimited. So it's unlimited times.
Oh, oh. And does your book cover all these strategies, tips? What is your book about?
So the book that I co-authored with Marie is more about a compilation of entrepreneurs, and but they're globally conscious entrepreneurs. So we're from all around the world, and we all talk a little bit about our journey. And the book that I'm working on right now will be different. It will be my own, and it will be combining feng shui and the office and business and tips. So this will be a little bit more on that side. Yes.
Oh, and when do you expect it to be out? When can we
Oh,
look for it?
yes, for sure. Next, it's got to be next year. I'm hoping early next year it will come out. Yes.
Oh, and have there been any challenges with writing it? And what do you like about writing?
Well, you know what yeah, it's so interesting. I never thought I would be consider myself an author. Uh, I love it. And what I do is as soon as I have thoughts, I mean, I write them down, right? And then I compile them. And the challenges is just time, really. I need more time, more hours in the day.
Yep, yep. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. And I know everything that's a labor of love takes time, you
Yes,
know,
it's true.
even in the whole business development and business journey. So combining your business and the feng shui, how much of it is more feng shui now versus before?
Mm. So in my office, everything is feng shui. At my home, everything is. And everyone I talk to, I'm like, do this. Okay, do like if I walk into an office, I won't go crazy and go, oh my gosh, why is your desk facing that way? Like I won't go right away in, but I might give some gentle little, oh,
Nudges.
these dead flowers, you may want to think about throwing those out because that's not giving a good sign, to the universe. But so in my world, it's like of everything's feng shui, because even I go a little deeper. I mean, advanced feng shui is getting into flying stars and all of that, and different years and months, and so I do apply that for sure. But what I'm doing and putting out there in my business world, it's very small right now. I've just started. I've started a TikTok video thing I do daily where I give tips, and some YouTube videos, and I put it out on my LinkedIn, but really just starting with this. And as I'm getting more and more encouragement from people wanting to know more, that's, I'm doing that. And again, it's time. So it's
Mhm.
whatever because I still have to maintain my company and my business, and, and my everyday job too.
I hear it. Sounds a lot. And I mean, I've often thought about that too. Even in the placement of my desk, I think about it. I'm like, I know I'm supposed to be facing the door, but I'd really, really get more light if I face another way. The conflicting views, right? if you, for example, want to be in a space where you have more light coming in, is it worthwhile switching the position, like looking through the door, or is it okay to turn your back to the door if you need to get more light?
100% always facing the door. I mean, if that's your power position. And I think about this, or I try and tell people, if you think about a king and a queen that are in their throne, they're sitting there, they're always facing people coming in towards them. So also think about it as a business owner, or somebody sitting at their desk. They're watching their clients come in towards them. They're watching the business come in towards them. So add some lights, for sure. But I would say definitely that's your power position. So that's your number one.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much for those tips. And are there any other tips that you think would be helpful in terms of growing a business?
So there's, if you have any clutter whatsoever, clean it all up, because clutter is stagnating your energy. So I would say, especially at the entrance to your office or your home, it doesn't matter either or. Look at what's at the front door. So clean up any, especially never leave garbage there, or dead plants like I spoke about earlier. And lighting, as you spoke about, make sure you have good lighting. Any burnt out bulbs, replace them. If you can, if you've got a door to your office, if you're able to put like 2 plants on each side of the door. So it's just, bringing in that positive energy, and just keep it clean. That's the number one right now, I would say.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I appreciate those tips. Tina,
You're welcome.
please tell everybody how they can find you, your social handles, everything. And then, of course, we're going to add the description and links to the bottom of the podcast.
Oh, for sure. So on my website, it's burkerecruiting.com. And on there, I have podcasts. I've got blogs. I have, if you sign up with our email, we have newsletters that go out every 2 weeks. And I have Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I have it all. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I know the managing of all those different platforms is definitely a lot. So I'm
Yes.
glad that you're on them and you're putting everything out there for our listeners to be able to get access to it and learn the benefits of using Feng Shui in their everyday life.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on today. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. It was fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Entrepreneurial Truth. One tool that I can truly recommend on how you can organize and execute systems is Notion. Notion allows you to seamlessly get information out of your head and into a centralized, organized space. Whether it's documenting processes, managing projects, or brainstorming ideas, Notion can be your go-to platform. As a special offer to our listeners, you can get started with Notion using the link in the episode description. By using our affiliate link, you not only support our podcast, but also gain access to free templates designed to kickstart your journey with Notion. These templates are specifically crafted to help entrepreneurs streamline their workflows and boost productivity. To take advantage of this offer, simply visit the affiliate link below to sign up and explore the free templates available in the resource section. Whether you're a solopreneur, managing a team, Notion can be the game changer you've been looking for. Stay tuned for more episodes where we dive deep into strategies, tools that can empower you as an entrepreneur. And don't forget to subscribe to Entrepreneurial Truth so you never miss an episode filled with actionable advice and insights. Thank you once again for joining us today. Until next time, keep innovating and scaling your business with purpose. Thanks again.